Hey, this would be a perfect day, I think, maybe to read a book if you want to stay cool. It's important this summer to keep your child's brain stimulated through reading. Thing is, seems like the kids want to make it feel more like a treat than a chore. So, joining us this morning with some adventurous books are authors Jane O'Connor, to my right, Mac, like Madonna, that's your name, Mac. Okay, and Scott Westerfeld. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. What we're going to do is talk to each of you individually about your book and a great tip you have for making reading easy and fun and to make kids want to do it. Jane, we'll start with you. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Phil.
Talk to me about your book, first off.
Well, Fancy Nancy is a little girl who likes to dress up and be fancy and use $5 words a lot. She would say it's sweltering today, which is fancy for hot.
Well, meteorologist Jeff Smith likes to use those words, too. Sweltering. He used that, I think. Okay, so it's a great story about a little girl. Now, I think maybe it's easier for little kids to want to read because it is so fun. I'm watching my 6-year-old daughter.
Yes.
She can't read enough books. They just continuously read. But if you had to give a tip for parents to get their kids wanting to read over the summer, what would it be?
I think that so often reading is an indoor pleasure, and with summer, take it outdoors, read together, lie in a hammock, read a story together, take a picnic. In Bonjour Butterfly, it's all about how Fancy Nancy loves butterflies. Go to a butterfly garden afterwards. Go looking for butterflies in your own garden if you're lucky enough to have a garden.
All right, it's a wonderful tip.
So it's a together pleasure.
All right, Jane, thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil.
Love the idea of the book. Mac.
Yes.
Those are your initials. I just want to get that.
Those are my initials.
Okay, very cool. So you go by Mac, kind of like Madonna. I like that.
I do. It's like a nickname.
Tell me about your book.
Well, Anna Smudge, professional shrink, is about an 11-year-old. She becomes the top shrink in Manhattan. And through her very nutty therapy sessions, she unravels a mystery involving a criminal mastermind named Mr. Who is out to get her dad.
That's fantastic. Now, that sounds interesting enough, but you do need to get kids interested. First of all, your book is for what age group, really?
My book is referred to as being middle grade, so I would say it's probably 9 to 12.
9 to 12. And so in that age group, I would think it then becomes a little bit more difficult than kids in the age group that Jane is targeting to get them interested in reading and making it fun. What tip would you give?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is to accidentally run over the video game controller with a vacuum.
Right, it's a good one.
And then after that I say, let's have a big book swap. You know, gather all of the kids in the building, in the neighborhood, go to the park, have each kid bring a favorite read, and then they could trade them, kind of like you used to trade baseball cards or comic books.
It's a great idea. Thank you. I like the remote control thing first. Thank you very much. All right, Scott, nice to have you here as well. Tell me about your book.
Uglies is set in a world in which everybody gets radical cosmetic surgery when they turn 16.
Okay.
So everybody becomes as beautiful as you guys.
Right,
when they turn 16, and it's about these sort of conscientious objectors who want to keep their own face, who are called uglies. An important message, and you're targeting what age group? It's 12 up, so basically teenagers.
Who would be in this category. So what would you say to them, outside of the fact that the book it's a great premise and it seems fun, what's the tip that you would give parents?
I think the important thing to think about reading is that it's social. Adults who love reading, when they read a book they love, they immediately go out and give it to someone else. You know, they find someone else who's read the book so they can talk about it. So when your kid's reading a book, read it at the same time so you have something to talk about. So they can turn into a social activity, talk about the issues involved, talk about what they think's going to happen, what the characters are going to do.
And it's not just you go and do this, we'll do it together.
Right. Or even give a copy to their best friend as well. You know, get their friends to read it, maybe start a mother-daughter book club. The more people who are reading the book, the better a book gets.
Fantastic. Scott Westerfeld, thank you very much. Mac, Jane O'Connor, I appreciate it. The books are wonderful, and so are your tips. We've put these tips on our website, which is 7online.com. Go ahead and click on the See It on TV link in the upper right-hand side of the page, and you will see weekend morning interviews and tips.